What ghostly ships dock in this treacherous harbor?
Do lighthouse keepers maintain their post, even in death?
Could phantom pets still roam these grounds?
Find out the answers to these questions and more as we uncover the maritime hauntings and history from Cape Hatteras Lighthouse in Outer Banks, North Carolina.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Erica.
And this is The Haunted Atlas, a Haunted U.S. podcast.
In the interest of fully exploring history of certain locations, the Haunted Atlas may discuss sensitive or disturbing topics. Listener discretion is advised.
A towering black and white structure stands in Cape Hatteras as America's tallest brick lighthouse. With a past of presiding over perilous waters, this lighthouse offers equal parts history and haunting. So imagine, it's the year 1800. There are frequent shipwrecks in the Outer Banks due to terrible storms and shifting waterways. So frequent is this loss of life that it gains the moniker the Graveyard of the Atlantic.
Yes, I read that, which is so crazy because I remember going to the Outer Banks when I was like 10, maybe 12, and not ever hearing anything about that.
Right. I'm wondering if it was just solved with the addition of the lighthouse, but maybe not.
Well, and so the other thing that I found interesting was like if you go on these like Outer Banks blogs or whatever, people tell you how to like scuba dive down to the wrecks.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that was. I didn't know anybody could do that.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I would do that. In the year 1800, because there's all this loss of life, the community is trying to intervene with Mother Nature's violence, and they want to do something about this. In 1803, the first lighthouse was built at Cape Hatteras to try to aid ships in navigating these nearby waterways. However, not too much stock was put into it, and the lighthouse stood at a very inefficient 90 feet tall.
That is not tall at all.
No. Pretty insufficient for a lighthouse.
Yes.
Additionally, it was lit by a dim oil lamp and did not really make a difference in navigation.
Yeah.
The community again rallied, and in the 1850s, the lighthouse was raised an additional 60 feet, so that brought it up to 150 feet.
Is that more normal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually very tall. A Fresnel lens replaced the oil lamp, producing a much brighter light. So here we have it taller and brighter.
Yeah, actually, those lenses are so interesting. So I looked into this because I was curious to see how much of a difference they made. You know, if you're talking about natural light, it kind of reflects naturally at a 90-degree angle, right? And so what a lens does, even not just the Fresnel, just lenses in general, they bend these light rays so that they're not bent at a 90-degree angle, which happens naturally, but so they're all concentrated at the same point. So that's think of a flashlight, you know what I'm saying? And the Fresnel lens, before it, right, these lenses were so thick, and especially the ones used in lighthouses, that only 50% of the light source's light was getting through.
Wow.
And then this Fresnel lens is now letting through 98%. It increased by 100%.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a huge increase.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you take the fact that it replaced an oil lamp,
yeah,
that's a huge improvement. Wow. So this really, it makes a lot of sense then that this would be such innovation.
Yes,
for the area.
Mean, I can't even imagine how much brighter it would have been.
Yeah.
Beforehand, they were like, we can take a walk on the beach. That's how far the light goes.
Right. Yeah. Now it's it will blind you. The renovated lighthouse opened in 1854 and was able to successfully help local ships, I'm sure in a large part due to this lens.
Yeah.
However, it became badly damaged in the Civil War. And the lens was actually stolen by rebels.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure how large that would be, but it seems like an odd thing to steal.
Yes. Okay. So interestingly enough, like I said, the lenses before the Fresnel lens were huge and thick and clunky. Another advantage to the Fresnel lens was that they took out a lot of these symmetrical lines in the lens. So it was super thin. So It makes sense to me that they'd be able to steal it. I just don't know why.
I'm thinking for getting supplies.
Oh.
You know, they probably wanted control of the harbor. They didn't want people to be able to navigate well. So they take it.
That makes sense.
Of course, it does harm them as
right.
well.
Yeah.
It was not until after the war that the government was actually able to replace the lens. It took 2 years to restore the lighthouse as well. In 1870, the reconstructed and improved lighthouse opened. Over 1 million bricks were used to make this version of the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse, which was the tallest and the best. In fact, it remains the tallest lighthouse in America.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and it has a distinct black and white striped pattern that helps improve visibility. And I think we see that a lot with lighthouses.
Yes, actually, it's funny. Was this the first place that was done?
I don't know if it was the first place that it was done, but it was an early version of this striping. By 1935, there were concerns over rising tides and the changing landscape in the Outer Banks. The lighthouse was actually abandoned due to these concerns, which is a crazy concept to me because you have had this lighthouse, you keep improving it, you keep rebuilding it, and now what, you're just going to let it fall into the sea?
Yeah, I'm very curious as to did they build another one, but further back, was that the issue?
They didn't build another formal lighthouse, but they did build a metal light tower nearby to help ships navigate. However, it was not as successful, and in 1937, the National Park Service helped to rebuild the coastline, thereby saving the lighthouse and preserving the community.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah. The tower itself reopened in 1950 after years of additional work on it. Even though this lighthouse has a really long history, there's been a lot of versions of it, and it has been out of commission a few times.
Right.
The same fate befell the lighthouse by 1987, and the concerns over the shoreline returned. This time, rather than abandon the lighthouse, they decided to move the lighthouse. It was moved a little bit at a time, beginning in 1999.
Just an inch a month or something?
Not an inch a month, but I will tell you how. So the movement was completed using a network of hydraulic jacks and steel mats. But the jacks had to be removed and reset every 5 feet. So this was a very laborious process.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was moved 2,900 feet inland over 23 full days of work.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. I guess it's less work than rebuilding the lighthouse, but it seems like quite a lot of work. And it's amazing because the keeper's house was also moved, with each building fully remaining in one piece during the time it was moved.
How on earth did they do that? I mean, I guess you just told us how, but...
Yeah, steel mats and hydraulic jacks.
Yeah.
Who knew? And I know that you can move houses and stuff, but with buildings this old, I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah.
The lighthouse still functions today, and thousands of tourists flock to it yearly, climbing the 12-story engineering marvel. However, some of these visitors leave with a different sort of story. Rumors abound that the black and white lighthouse towering over the graveyard of the Atlantic is haunted.
Hey everyone, Brandon here from Haunted US with a few announcements. We're just 2 weeks away from the launch of our very first book, 30 Haunted Nights in Wisconsin. Don't forget to pick up your copy August 18th on Amazon. Coming up this Thursday on hauntedus.com, we'll be looking into the strange happenings at the Museum of Colorado Prisons, where a former warden included a paranormal claim in his own biography. Next Thursday, get ready to hit the rails as we explore the Rio Grande train depot in Utah, where a station master roams the concourse even in death. Both Museum of Colorado Prisons and Rio Grande Train Depot will be available on hauntedus.com. And don't forget to get your copy of 30 Haunted Nights in Wisconsin on August 18th. Now let's get back to the history and hauntings with the Haunted Atlas team.
Cape Hatteras Lighthouse has seen thousands of shipwrecks in the nearby waters. It's rumored to be haunted by the ghosts of those lost sailors, but it also seems to attract spectral vessels as well. One of these ghost ships actually has a name, the Carroll A Deering. Have you heard of this ship?
Yeah. Although, I don't know, the one that I did research into was like a real ship.
It is a real ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was a commercial sailing ship that was abandoned near the lighthouse in early 1921. When the ship was found, the logbook and all of the navigation tools were mysteriously gone. There was an untouched meal left on the table, as if someone was literally about to sit down and eat. The lifeboats and all personal items were also missing, but there was no evidence of where the crew might have gone.
Which is so scary.
Right. Where did they go?
Right. And honestly, there's so many options because the ocean is just so vast. There's so much that we don't know. And so it's like there are so many theories out there, and there are like a few that I read, even a hoax. I don't know if you saw that one.
Mm-mm.
But I just can't even fathom like where these people could have gone.
Yeah, the theories that I saw for it are that the crew of the Deering just disappeared through supernatural reasons and still roam the shores today. Some say you can actually even see the Deering itself as a ghost ship sitting on the shoreline where it was found.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But what theories did you find?
Oh my gosh. The most interesting one was, well, in my opinion, was like a message in a bottle that showed up, and it was kind of like the message was this like map, and it basically explained that like pirates had gone onto the ship and like taken everybody. But then the guy who found it, they ended up finding out that he wrote it.
Oh.
So it's just like a full hoax.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, but I thought that was interesting that this was so big that people were like hoaxing or trying to.
Right, and I think with this happening in 1921, it was much easier for people to go missing.
Yeah.
So it could be that they all drowned and the bodies were never found. With certain water temperatures, dead bodies can actually be preserved at the bottom of bodies of water rather than floating to the top because it gets so cold at the bottom that they don't float back up.
Right.
That's the case in Lake Superior. Lake Superior is known as the lake that keeps her dead. And I think it's likely that something happened. They abandoned the ship, hence the lifeboats being gone.
Well, right.
And it crashed.
Yes, the lifeboats being gone makes me think that they knew that they were going, or that obviously like they had purposely gone. But the food is what gets me. And then it just crashes.
Yeah. It begs the question of why.
Yeah.
If we assume that it was abandoned, why was it abandoned? And maybe we'll never know.
Yeah.
Unless you are able to find the specters of the crew and interact with them. I think it's really cool, like I said, that you can sometimes see the Deering itself as a ghost ship on the shoreline.
Yeah, that must be a magnificent view. Not that ships today aren't beautiful, because they are, but just ships back then were so beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. There is one other apparition that's well known along the shoreline. This is a gray man that appears only briefly. And he's said to signify that rain is coming because he'll appear right before a storm breaks and then disappear when the tide comes crashing in.
Now that's a helpful spirit.
Very helpful.
Yes, especially on a beach when you got to get out of there when there's a storm.
Right. And some say this man might be part of the Deering story, but I think there are so many possible explanations. He could be someone from the Deering, of course. I also saw theories that this is some sort of supernatural like storm wizard.
Right.
I guess that could be. But it could be someone from any of the other shipwrecks there. It's called the Graveyard of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
So you can choose from a ton of different options to see who this might be. And because he only appears for a very short amount of time, I think it's impossible to further investigate it or identify him.
I don't know if this makes sense, but how close is like the lighthouse keeper's house to the shore?
Now that it's moved, I'm not sure. It used to be very close.
Okay, because I'm wondering if maybe the gray man is one of the lighthouse keepers.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Like
warning the ships.
Around. Yeah.
That's really true. The lighthouse itself is also said to be haunted. And here we have a fun ghost. The ghost is known to be over 150 years old, and it is a black and white cat.
That's incredible.
I know. And I think the color is interesting because it matches the lighthouse.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
I know.
Didn't even think of that.
Visitors have seen it walk through the lighthouse and in the surrounding grounds. And it's said to be rather large at estimations of 15 to 25 pounds. So that's a big cat.
Yeah, really.
Visitors have actually interacted with it, saying they can feel it rub up against them and that the cat will even come to them. The only caveat is that when they try to pet it or interact where they give the touch, it disappears.
Ooh, okay.
Now, I have a lot of qualms with this story. I think if you're seeing the cat and it's not up in front of you disappearing, there is the possibility it's a real cat.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a beach town. It's possible someone in the area has a black and white cat. Now, the story does persist for many, many years, so that could be challenging. But I think if you're just seeing it in the distance, I'm less likely to call it paranormal.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, if it's up in front of you and it's disappearing right before your eyes, I don't know how that could not be paranormal.
Right. Yeah. I wonder if anyone's ever caught it on video. I'm assuming not, because I'm sure that would have been posted everywhere. But that has got to be such an interesting sight.
Yeah, and local lore says that it was probably one of the keeper's cats.
Oh.
So maybe it's the gray man's cat, now that you have thrown out that theory.
I hope so. I hope they're together in the afterlife, hanging out.
I think it's really cool that it's this ghostly cat that wants to interact with people still.
Yeah, that's really cute. I would honestly, I would feel like the chosen one.
Right?
If this cat rubbed against me.
There is another distinct spirit in the lighthouse, but this one is human. He has been given the name Bob, which is not associated with his story at all. But he wears a yellow rain jacket, and he can be seen walking around the lighthouse or in close proximity to the lighthouse, kind of like the gray man, but not associated with storms.
Okay.
And many think that he's probably an old keeper.
Yeah.
I think given the yellow rain jacket, although stereotypical, it likely means he was a keeper, someone that would be taking care of the area. And it could be his cat too.
Oh, true. Yeah.
There's no reason that we can't have two different ghostly lighthouse keepers.
Yeah. Now, did you say that he also wore a yellow hat? Or did I make that up in my head just now?
You made that up. Just a yellow jacket.
See, I don't know why, but I immediately imagined a cap.
I think because when you see the quintessential rain jacket, it's the full set with the goulashes and the hat and everything.
Right.
But no, just a yellow rain jacket.
Makes more sense for realism.
Yeah, and I do wonder about the longevity of this haunting, because I also think it's possible that if you're seeing these figures, it could just be someone working the area. And again, I don't like to discredit people's paranormal claims, but I think it's important to consider that if it is raining outside,
yeah,
and visibility is low, and you're seeing someone in a yellow rain jacket, then it's possible that is just the current caretaker walking around.
For sure.
Now, the ghostly ships, I have no rebuttal for that.
No, that's just unexplainable.
Yeah. If you have been to the Outer Banks and potentially seen a ghost ship, we would love to hear from you and hear your stories about the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. You can email us at theteam@hauntedus.com and include Haunted Atlas episode 17 in the subject. Or you can find us on social media at Haunted US and send us your stories there. Tune in to our next episode to see where we drop the pin on our adventure across the Haunted US. This episode of Haunted Atlas was presented by Sarah Sweeney and Erica Barrett. It was researched by Sarah Sweeney, supported by research from Haunted US head writer Mitch Goff, with production assistance by David Sweeney and music by Colleen Johnson. Our executive producer is Brandon Rugsey. Haunted Atlas is a production of Haunted US. Visit hauntedus.com for more information.